Yo, what is up guys, FV here and welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and in today's video I'm going to be covering the best HESH gun in the game. Now the tank that has the best HESH gun in the game is obviously going to be the FV4202, and a lot of you guys are probably going to be upset with me with that one, but yeah, this is probably the best HESH gun in the game. If you have different opinions, let me know in the comment section below. But in today's video I'm going to be covering this vehicle, mainly its best strength, which is kind of one thing which we'll get into in just a moment. But yeah, in today's video I'm going to cover firstly a replay that kind of gives you an estimate on what you can expect on a game-to-game basis with this vehicle, and then as well as just me commenting about the vehicle, what I think about it, and if you should go ahead and get this tank. Now with that being said, let's head straight into it. So let's start off with going straight to the gun statistics on this vehicle. Now, obviously, if you don't know, this tank can actually have the choice of 2 different guns. So it really depends on which gun you want to use. But obviously, if you're going to play the FV4202, you're going to get the top gun which has the HESH loaded onto it. So if you don't know what HESH is, it's basically just a high penetration, high explosive round, if that makes sense to you. And yeah, basically, this vehicle has upwards of 230 millimeters of high explosive pen, which allows you to pen most vehicles frontally with high explosive. And high explosive, if you don't know, is one of the most deadly rounds in the game because it allows you to do a heck of a lot of damage, especially to people who have reactive armor as a consumable. Yeah, HESH is just going to eat through them regardless of that reactive armor. So this is a really nice thing to have in the current update, is a HESH gun. So with that being said, I'm not going to blabber around too long. Let's get straight into a game here. Now, obviously, this is just a random game I played. It's kind of what you can expect from a tank like this from time to time. And because of that, I do think it is a pretty good idea to get this vehicle as soon as you can, because obviously it is a decent tank, and I really think it's high up there in terms of the tanks that you can possibly play. So with that being said, let's see how this game turns out. Now, obviously the FV4202 is not the most mobile tank, it's not the most armored tank, and it's not a tank that has the best accuracy in the game. But what it does have is, if you are patient enough, a pretty potent gun. As you can see there, per shot, even with AP, you're going to do 350 damage, which is very, very nice. Now, the one thing I will say is that because you don't have, obviously, a premium AP or premium APCR or heat, you can't really butter straight through enemies with which have a lot of armor. So you need to be mindful for the tanks that you go up against. You don't want to go up against like E50Ms, even though you can pin the lower plates with HESH with this tank. You're going to have a horrible time if that E50M is held down, just like you would in any other tank. But just because this tank does not have the premium rounds, premium AP or premium APCR, you are going to have a heck of a bad time. Now, you're probably asking, why didn't I stay held down in the back here for longer? Why couldn't I just stay over here and then just try farm out the enemy team from there? But as we see here, our enemy team, or our teammates on the left side, are getting pushed by the enemy team on that far end of the map. As you can see, they have the VK72, they have a 60 TP and such over that side. So if we do not push forward over here and deal with the guys on the right side, our heavy tanks on the left are going to be overrun and we're going to be in a crossfire. So I am taking the opportunity to get up to this top end over here to try see if I can spot up the enemy tank destroyers in the back, put some damage into them, and then maybe push this SDB. But yeah, so my whole interpretation here was to spot the enemy tank destroyers, so my medium tank and FV405 can go and push this SDB, but that doesn't end up happening, and I'm going to have to do that myself, which you'll see shortly. So yeah, let's go through here. Now, as you can see, I am going, oh wait, why is this gone now? I need to press V. There we go. Sorry guys, as if I'm a rookie to this. Unfortunate miss there on the VK72. Now, unfortunately, the FV4202 does not have the greatest accuracy out there, as you'll see in a second. It doesn't hit all the shots, but it does have just enough accuracy to, if you do end up aiming correctly, you are going to hit your shots. And another thing that's pretty cool about this tank, which it didn't have previously, was good armor. This tank used to be absolutely paper, and in my opinion, that was the prime state of the FV4202, because it had a really good gun, a lot more accurate than it is now. And yeah, the armor was never really the thing about this vehicle. The whole point of this tank was that deadly gun. Now, at this certain moment here, I see that my teammates are not pushing this SDB, even though we have 3 of them here. They are not pushing the SDB, and it's holding us back quite a bit. So, you know what? I put my, I guess you could say, big boots on and say, I'm going to go push this SDB on my own. And this is where the tank absolutely excels. Mind you, that SDB does have better DPM than me if we were to shoot only AP. However, when I use my HESH, I have upwards of 4k DPM with no issue at all clearing this SDB, especially when my Murat helps me out here. Unfortunately, I do wish the reload was a bit shorter there. I would have been able to get a Progetto shot on that. But you know what? It doesn't matter. We will end up clearing the Progetto soon enough. So it doesn't end up being a very bad thing that the reload wasn't quite there. But yeah, we move on and we try to clear this FV183. As you can see here, just this 183 sitting here is holding back our medium tanks quite a bit. Now, as you can see, as long as you take the time to aim, even if it's an extra 2 seconds, you're going to hit your shots and you're going to do pretty well. So I know a lot of people say that the accuracy is the main letdown on this vehicle. They don't really like the tank. And it's mainly because no one is taking the time to aim, like I am right now. I end up overshorting, or whatever you can call that, for undercutting my aim there. And I end up putting a shot into the guy's track. So that was my fault why that missed. But yeah, that is another bad thing about HESH guns. And why I do think HESH can be a very hard thing for new players to play. Because, obviously, as you saw there, my HESH shot got absorbed by that Progetto's track. And that's what kind of just happens here. You can't rely on this tank being a reliable source of gun. Like, obviously, HESH is the most unreliable gun you can use. But it's also one of the most deadly guns. So you just gotta take that into consideration, that most of your shots are not going to always go in, because there's a lot of vehicles that have huge tracks that have, obviously, their gun can absorb HE, hatches, and spaced armor absorbs HE. So you need to really know what you're shooting at and what is spaced armor and what is not in order to do very well in this vehicle. Like you saw there, even the Progetto's track over there absorbed the track, but even anything like the gun, the spaced armor, a lot of even just a hatch can absorb my HESH. So you need to be really timeless on your shots to make sure that they're going where you want them to go, where you know that they will definitely get a guaranteed pen. So yeah, that is another thing. So for new players, I would say it's not the best tank to play, because I don't think any HESH gun is a good tank to play, because yeah, it's not a really good friendly gun, especially when it's a lot harder to aim your shots. But as you can see here, it really works. I'm doing 400 damage to the rear of a VK72 every 7 seconds. It's very deadly, and when you put the adrenaline on, it's upwards of 6 seconds here, which is extremely deadly. It's 4k DPM just eating away at this German tank here. It's kind of happy days for me. And as you can see there, it doesn't do the 450 that it's supposed to every time. It's still gonna do a lot of damage. And yeah, while I do think this tank is a fantastic tank and it has the best HESH gun in the game, because like you don't know, well, some of you don't know, HESH tanks are, like HESH guns on heavy tanks, are one of the most awful things out there in my opinion. Tanks like the Chieftain Mark 6, where is it, yeah? The Chieftain Mark 6 has a HESH gun now, which means it has double HESH shells. It does not have premium APCR or AP or heat, APCR like it used to. And that kind of means that you're going to struggle to pen a lot of heavy tanks frontally, especially tanks like the E100 and such. You can no longer go straight through their their frontal plate on their turret anymore, because you are restricted to having the HESH gun. What I think Wargaming should have done is given the Chieftain Mark 6 the choice of, like the FV4202 has, where you can choose between a HESH gun and a normal heat gun, which I think the Chieftain Mark 6 would have done a lot better with, because I don't think heavy tanks should have HESH guns, because the whole point about a heavy tank is the ability to hold its ground, go hull down, or just basically hold a flank, so that the enemy heavy tanks cannot just progress forward without taking a lot of damage. And the Chieftain Mark 6 just cannot dump the damage on a heavy flank that easily, and you're kind of forced to go against the medium tanks, because that's the only vehicles you can really pen frontally with that HESH gun. So for a medium tank, this is why I think it's an absolute game changer when a medium tank has a HESH gun, because you have that mobility, you're not restricted to having to hold a position, and with that mobility, it allows you to get around targets a lot easier than the Chieftain Mark 6 or any heavy tank that has a HESH gun like the VZ75, and it just allows you to dump a lot of damage very quickly. And that is it, guys. The Chieftain Mark, or the FV4202. By the way, I didn't actually go and see the data damage I did that game, but it was 4.4k damage with 1.5k assisted here, and we didn't destroy any targets, unfortunately, but yeah, it is what it is. But the FV4202, in my opinion, has the best HESH in the game. Let me know what you guys think about that statement in the comment section below. Which tank do you think has a better HESH gun than the FV4202? I'm very curious. And with that being said, guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, you can leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out, and I greatly appreciate it. I'll check you guys in the next one. Goodbye.